In my last video where I talked about doing worms and putting ridges on them, you know, the gambler worm, Kenny Rogers, you remember that video, right?
You got to know when to hold up, know when to fold up.
I made this like comment that like worm bodies were easy to make, and I think that was like a pretty dick thing to say, right? Like if you don't know how to do it, it's not easy. So I'm gonna show you how to make worm bodies today, and it is pretty straightforward. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a sketch, and I'm sketching any plane, doesn't really matter at this point. We're gonna draw a line. To make a worm body, you really need like 3 lines and a curve. So this line represents how long the body of the bait, the worm in this case, is gonna be. So let's do a Ned worm, because you know, I wanna print this thing quickly. And this is make it a 3-inch worm, okay? Now we're gonna draw how big we want the nose to be. And we're gonna be drawing a radius, so this is, you'll double this number to make the actual diameter of the nose. If I haven't made it clear, the worm is round, right? So we're making completely round worms. Let's see, Ned rig, worm. Oh, I got a Ned hook right here, let's see. These are like only 3.6 millimeters. Those are tiny, bro. Man, that's small. Let's just go make a 4. So we'll do 2. Okay. And then you need something on the back. You can't make this 0 or Fusion hates you and will not bend to your will. So let's just make this 0.5 millimeter here, 0.5. So it'll end up being 1. Now, next thing you do is just draw a fit point spline. Boom. Between these 2 lines. Boom. You gotta say boom when you connect them to. It's really important. And then you can, you know, do your old fit point spline stuff and adjust this to however you want it to be. Okay, finish sketch. Then we want to do create and revolve. It's gonna ask you for a profile. You're gonna select this guy here. Axis, select your other line you drew for the length. And everything else is cool, and boom, you have a worm body. That's the basics. Let's get into some fancy stuff. So if I'm gonna go back to my sketch, and we're gonna go ahead and just delete this line for now. So what if you want like waves and bumps and bubbles and all that kind of stuff? So the easiest way to kind of keep that all in check is to draw another line, but make it a construction line by clicking this button over here and put it at, you know, some point in the lure. And let's see, so that's 2, let's make that 3. Yeah, whatever, dude, doesn't matter. Obviously all these things would be better if you put them in parameters and, you know, made this thing completely parameterized. You've seen that in my other videos. All right, then we're gonna hit the D key and we're gonna dimension this here. And this is basically how far from the nose this hump starts, okay? Type in whatever you want. Now, if we want to make it dip back down, do another thing back here, 0.3, sure, done. Now we just draw our fit point spline again, boom, oops. We don't want it to be that, we want it to be an actual line. Boom, and then we go down, boom, and then it's gonna go back up, boom. Now, see how this goes down below that line? That ain't gonna work, bro. So you're gonna have to make sure that this comes back up above that line. And that's probably way too small, by the way. Finish sketch, do a revolve again, and boom, you have a way too small worm. But you get the idea, right? So I use those lines to kind of control how tall this thing is. So I can come in here and say, look, man, this really needs to be 0.5 here, and maybe this really needs to be 1, 2 millimeters in the back. And then, you know, you do you, okay? So that's a basic kind of curve, maybe like a Cinco style or whatever. So let's do something really fun now. The fact that this is really fun is kind of scary. Okay, so let's delete this line again. And let's do some ribs like we did in the gambler worm, but in a slightly different way. Okay, so we're back where we were. Let's make this a little bit bigger here, and tail can stay there. Okay, so now we're gonna create a 3-point arc. So we go create arc, 3-point arc. So we click at the start of the arc, which we're gonna start right on the nose. The end of the arc, which we'll put, let's put it like a little weird angle here. and then the middle of the arc right there. Okay, you know, you do you, bro. It's cool. However you want to do it. Then we're going to create a rectangular pattern. Click on this guy. We're going to pull up this. And again, I'd probably put like a line down here that I could move back and forth, but we're just going to wing it. So I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to have this kind of whole section here. So this is where a parameter would come in handy. If I had a length parameter, I might divide it by 2 or something like that to get exactly halfway, but we'll just make it 35 because that's close enough to halfway. And we're going to change our quantity. So just keep bumping up this quantity until they overlap. So you got that little overlap there, okay? So click on OK. Now we're just going to grab our fit point spline and we're going to do the back part of this lure to be smooth. All right. And maybe a little bit of a bump there. That looks cool. And again, so once you have this profile, and you'll know it's a profile because you'll see all this blue stuff in here, it's the same process of the revolve, right? So if I finish this sketch, it's going to revolve, and now we have this cool worm, right? And I think that's the easiest way to get ribs, actually. I should redo all my videos now. As long as your body is completely round. It's kind of a cool lure, bro. Kind of a cool little net. I think I'm going to turn that into something. So the next step that's pretty critical on the 3D printing side is to make a mold for this lure, and that video is right here. Take care, tight lines.